and Guy had run out. And he didn't talk to me until he realized he was out of cigarettes, and then we became fast friends. And,
so many good relationships are based on mutual interest.
Or addictions, yeah. And that night, he and Verlin, they had just recorded the record, The Dark. And we sat on the ground at their feet, school kids, as he and Verlin played the entire record for us. It was one of the most amazing memories of my life. And at about 4 a.m, he decided it was time to catch a plane, so he left and got on a plane and flew back to Nashville. It was my first experience with Guy Clark.
Well, Guy Clark, without Guy's help, I probably wouldn't be standing here this evening, because I through a mutual high school friend, I was introduced in 1984, my very first trip to Nashville, to a young man at CBS Songs, where Guy wrote. A young man, he was the guy that made tape copies to send around town. I mean, he was the guy I could get a meeting with. He may have swept up as well, but he was originally from Houston, and he became a very successful publisher in his career. His name is Sam Ramage, and so I went to CBS Songs, and I had this demo tape, and I said, I know this is a long shot, and I know Guy Clark writes here, but Guy is one of my heroes, and if there's any way for you to pass this tape on to Guy, I'd really appreciate it. He said, I'll do my best. And I had absolutely zero hope of that happening. And which is, I just appreciated Sam being nice to me and just getting the meeting, and I knew I was pushing my luck. And I would go to Nashville every 4 or 6 weeks, just kind of make the rounds and follow up on people I'd met, and knock on doors. As I met people, occasionally somebody would say, "Oh yeah, Guy Clark told me about you," and I'd think, well, there's something terribly wrong. And so it wasn't until a year later that I met Guy, and Guy actually called Tony Brown, who was the head of A&R in those days for MCA Nashville, and took him to lunch to give him my tape before I ever even met Guy. And it was because of Guy's giving my tape to Tony Brown that I eventually got signed to MCA Records. And Guy changed my life. The first time I went to Guy and Susanna's house, that was out by the lake. It was a little cabin, and Towns Van Zandt ended up living in that house. But it was a little house with beautiful hand-oiled wood floors that Guy had installed himself. And he took me back to the back porch, which was a screened-in porch, and on that porch were a bunch of composition notebooks like you use in school, and we started talking about songs, and he said, songs. He was just talking to me about his philosophy of songs. He said, songs. He said, you have to. He said, you start with an idea, and the idea can evolve. He said, take a look at this, and he pulled out a page, and he opened it up, and I'm reading, and it was from when he lived out in Los Angeles. I read these words. It said, if I could just get off of this Long Beach freeway without getting hit with a car. And I said, it says Long Beach. He said, yeah, we were living down there in Long Beach. He said, but it didn't seem very good.
the landlord for me. The son of bitches always bored me. Out the Millie papers, moldy box of vanilla wafers. Adios to all this concrete. I'm gonna get in some dirt road back street. If I could just get over this LA freeway without getting killed or caught. Down the road in a cloud of smoke to some land that I ain't bought. Here's to you old skinny dips. The only one I think I will miss. I can hear your basement singing, sweet and low like a gift you're bringing. Play it for me one more time. We got to give it all we can now. We got something to believe in. Don't you think it's time we're leaving? If I can just get over this LA freeway without getting killed or caught. Down the road, cloud of smoke to some land that I ain't bought. Put the pin card in the mailbox. Leave the key in that old front door lock. They'll find it likely as not. I'm sure there's something we have forgot. Oh, Susanna, don't you cry, baby. Love's a gift that's truly handmade. We got something to believe in. Don't you think it's time we're leaving? If I can just get over this LA freeway without getting killed or caught. Down the road in a cloud of smoke to some land that I ain't bought. If I can just get over this LA freeway without getting killed or caught.
Ladies and gentlemen,